Hello and welcome everyone. This is Raj from CoinLive, and today it's my honor and privilege to interview the partnership lead at Decred, Bernardo Brites. Now, Decred is a peer-to-peer cryptocurrency, and what makes it unique is that it has a governance mechanism coded into the blockchain. So, without further ado, welcome to the show, Bernardo. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I love the work you have been doing at your website with compiling news from other websites and the original interviews you're doing. I'm very excited for the next interview you have with the VP from Coin.
Yeah,
And let's start it.
that's amazing. So, let's begin with the questions, Bernardo, if it's okay with you.
Sure.
Yeah. So, what inspired you to become a part of the Decred project? Like, tell us your story.
Sure. So it first started when I got a bit upset at how Decred didn't have many exchanges. At the time that I got into Decred, you could only buy Decred on Poloniex and on Bitrex. And I didn't have a Bitrex account, and Poloniex at the time was very bad at customer support, and it had like 3 months wait time to get a new account approved. So I had to stick with Shapeshift and Changely. And I was actually talking with the first friend that sold me Decred throughout peer-to-peer. And I was saying, oh my gosh, but Decred doesn't have many exchanges, and we could have more partnerships and have more people accept Decred. And he actually said, oh, but if you are upset about it, why don't you help with it? And I was like, can I do that? Because usually when you're talking about a company and an institution, you can't really participate on it and like do your work with your own hands. You usually are a viewer, and you can't do much more than just comment on it or interact with it through like social media. So on Decred, I actually got into Slack, and I discovered that you can actually help with it. You can get hired as a contractor, and usually how it works is that you show up, you show interest, and you start working and showing that you are actually meaningful and helpful for the project, and then you get hired eventually. And we are always looking for more contractors. Also, for Golang devs, that's a thing that we are always looking into, because Decred is actually coded in Golang, and our devs were the developers that did the Bitcoin D, the Golang implementation of Bitcoin, and they are very awesome. So I'm very excited about the project because we have a lot of things coming up, and we are already an awesome project because of all the governance system and how people can actually participate rather than just watch from afar.
Yeah, I mean, you seem very passionate about the project. So, staying on that line of questioning, like, what is your background? Like, what did you do before you entered the Decred project?
Yeah, for sure. So my background is in marketing and communications. So I always loved working with tech. Since I was young, when I played League of Legends and other video games, I always wanted to work for a video game company and work on one of those best companies to work on that list, you know. And I love the startup feel and how people in tech are. And home office is awesome, but I love interacting with people. So I'm very passionate about what I do. Sorry, passionate. And I usually love hearing about new tech and reading about it. I actually heard of Bitcoin around 2013, 2012, but I only got into it around late 2015 or early 2016. Right. So I kind of got there later than I should, and like everyone hoped they got earlier. But I have always been into tech and startups, fintechs, and all those. So I have worked as a CMO on a startup company, and it was actually a marketplace for pharmacies, and people could order anything that was in a drugstore or a pharmacy, and it would find the best price on the closest locations and deliver it to their home. It was quite successful in Brazil, and it got acquired by other major company in the health industry. So I have always worked with social media and marketing and all of those planning and partnerships side of companies. And working in a decentralized company, like in the project of Decred, is awesome because everyone has a voice, and there's no bad idea. You just have to put your heart into it and pitch it to the rest of the team and convince them. And that's what I am actually looking for the most in Politeia, because even if you are not popular in a space, if you have a good idea, they will look at your idea, not if you are a influential person.
That actually resonates a lot with me and how I got into the space as well. So I can truly empathize with that. Now, as you've said before, Decred has one of the most amazingly technical team out there. You have brilliant developers and programmers, but they haven't really marketed themselves that aggressively, so to speak, because as you said, the not that that freely available and all those things. So having said that, as somebody who comes from a marketing background, what were the challenges that you faced when you first joined the team?
Yeah, that's actually an awesome topic to talk about, because our devs, when they released Decred, they were coding, and they didn't really look at marketing that much. That's why many people didn't hear of Decred until lately. But the guys that know Decred, they are very passionate about it, because it's an awesome tech, and they know that our dev team is very good at what they do. And the biggest challenge when I started working for Decred, or contributing with it, not being hired as a contractor yet, was to try to pass on the need for marketing and why we should have press releases and get on the media and distribute content, because some of the devs had a mindset that was, if you have a good product, you don't have to market it. It will sell by itself. And I don't share that same mindset, because I do think that a good product would sell itself, but if you have a good marketing team behind it and a good strategy, you would sell a lot more. Yeah. So rather than selling 100,000 units, you would sell 10 million, 100 million. And that actually resonates to services and to blockchain projects as well. Yeah. So if you actually market the projects in a good way, you don't have to be aggressive and do that shady types of ads and lie about it. You just have to get impressions and reach other people. Get them to be aware of your project. So we are working on a lot of nice stuff that I can't talk about, but there are a lot of things that I actually can't talk about. So we have a lot of exchanges coming up. We have a lot of wallets, multi-currency wallets coming up. So since the first time that I heard of Decred, I used it on Exodus, and I bought it with Shapeshift. I am very pleased to have those multi-currency wallets and to have new services and new ways to pay with Decred and accept Decred. We are looking at gateway services like Coin Payments and Gobi that already accept Decred, but other similar services, and many new stores are accepting Decred right now. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, awesome times to be with Decred and
Yeah,
to take
for
it.
sure, for sure. So, I mean, you as a partnership lead, I mean, I want to know what is your thinking process when you're looking for partners for Decred. Like, how do you go about your work? Can you give us a glimpse into that?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Usually there are some services and some companies that stand out in the news, on Twitter, or they just come up and you hear about them throughout other services. For example, if other projects integrate into a multi-currency wallet and I hear about it, I usually reach out to them and see if we have synergy between Decred and them, because some projects would I won't like mention names, but they charge a lot to get other cryptocurrencies integrated into their project, into their platform. So some are reasonable amounts, and it's very nice when you see that they have the same mindset as us, and they have like the same principles. So usually projects that don't do ICOs, not saying that we wouldn't work with projects that do ICOs, but projects that didn't do ICOs usually have a more credit with us, if I may say. So there are some work standards that we love, and the other way that I usually pursue the companies and other possible partners, is that I look at, for example, payment gateways. If I look at the existing payment gateway market, and for the Web 3.0 one, cryptocurrencies and the old financial system on fintechs, I usually go through all of them, and I look at the people that are relevant there for me to talk, and I usually reach out to them and talk about integrating Decred. I explain about a little bit about Decred, and if they already know about it, that's great. But usually that's how I go about my pursuit on partnerships, and it has been working very well, because usually you chat with them, you have a call, and then you start things up. And our dev team is very nice, so we do that support for them if they want to get integrated. We answer all their questions, their doubts. And Nenex actually just did an integration on Decred, where they said, "Oh, we want to do an integration, and how can you guys help us?" And then one of our devs helped them with some questions, and they integrated us in 18 hours. So it's not hard to integrate Decred. It's quite similar to how Litecoin and Bitcoin are. And right now we have faster transaction speeds and lower fees, maybe because of volume, but we have Lightning Network coming up, and I think that we have a lot of scaling strategies on-chain and off-chain that will help a lot with low fees and a good transaction time that would enable us to be accepted on everyday activities and services.
Well, now that you have touched on the Lightning Network, can you give our audience an update on what is the status there with Lightning Network integration?
Sure. Could you repeat the last part? You asked if I had trust on Lightning?
No, I mean, like, I'm asking, like, a latest update on Lightning Network and Decred, like, what is going on there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So Lightning Network actually is programmed on Golang. So it was quite easy to port it. We are only figuring out one part of it, and it's the last part that will make us be enabled to use Lightning Network. So the work on it has been constant, and our devs are busting their heads off. And I think that we will probably have licensing this quarter or the next one up on Decred. So we are very excited about it. And licensing just got enabled on Bitcoin mainnet, so we are stoked.
Yeah, I mean, I personally can't wait for that. I mean, like, Lightning Network is one of the most fascinating things happening in cryptocurrency
For
right
sure.
now. It's brilliant. So, I mean, going back to one of the more basic questions, like, we can't really talk about Decred without touching on the Politia, right? So, I mean, for our audience, can you give us an idea of how the Politia system works? Like a very brief overview.
Yeah, for sure. Politeia will actually come up this quarter. We are very excited about it. We already have splash arts and many things that make us have an idea of what it will be. Mm-hmm. So to give you a little context on it, Decred has a project subsidy where a little piece of the block reward goes to this project fund. So in Politeia, we'll be able to submit proposals and vote on them to be able to use this fund. So people, for example, if they think that Decred should have a big conference on governance and invite many cryptocurrency people and people from the industry, they could submit a proposal and say, oh, we would need $200,000 to do this conference, and it will be awesome. We need this, and that. What do you think? And people will be able to comment on that, to talk about it, and vote on it. If it gets approved, they will either get the money to do the project in parts, or hire another contractor to do it, another company, or even a person to do it. Mm-hmm. And this person will have deadlines and targets that as soon as they are completed, the stakeholders will vote again to see if they deserve to keep working on it, and if they are doing a good job. So it's an awesome governance experiment. We are very excited about it. I can say that exchange listings, new types of platform integrations, and many developments. And for example, the mobile wallet is coming up, but I think that many companies will be able to submit proposals there and say, oh, we have a good service. What do you guys think? On their own, so they don't need us to submit it. If you have a service, you can do it by yourself and see if the stakeholders approve it. And that's actually an awesome thing, that if you hold Decred, you have a power and you have a say on the future of Decred.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty comprehensive and brilliant overview on how the system works. So thank you for that. And moving on to more technicalities of the Decred system. Now, Decred is also unique in a way that it has a proof of stake / proof of work hybrid consensus mechanism. So for our audience, can you tell us, like, why does Decred use that, and what are the advantages over like traditional POW POS systems?
For sure. So with proof of work and proof of stake hybrid mining, we have the proof of work blocks that are mined be validated by the proof of work, by the proof of stake stakeholders and the system. So what we like to say, to use as an analogy, is the two-factor authentication. So usually the block is validated on its own by the miners on Bitcoin and other proof of work mining systems. And the problem with that is that if 51% of the miners want something, that's a reality. So in Decred, that's a 51% attack would be much more expensive, because you would need around 51% of the proof of work miners, and you would need of the Decred stake. So it would be around 15 times, if I'm not mistaken, more expensive than attacking the Bitcoin network. And it adds a new layer of security to our chain. So the difference between proof of work and our hybrid system is clear on how it's a lot more expensive to do an attack and a lot harder to do it. And with proof of stake alone, you have a lot of problems with double spending and on other security issues that are turning out as we speak. We have a lot of like bug reports and all that. And I think that in the future, maybe proof of stake alone can be an option with IoT and many devices. But proof of stake right now, it comes a lot. It comes with centralization because you need a master server or a big processing system to do the work. Because with proof of stake, they have in mind that eventually the devices will be able to send and receive the transactions with their own processing power. But right now they don't have as much devices, and they don't have it optimized as well as they should to do it. So if you take like IOTA Tango, which is not a blockchain, but they claim that they will be able to turn down their master system and their coordinator, and eventually they will be decentralized. But that's a promise. You can take that for granted. So
right. So I mean, when we began this interview, you touched on the fact that Decred was a little difficult to get, because it was not listed in a lot of exchanges. So what are the strategies that you guys are looking at to get listed on more high value exchanges?
For sure. What I actually discovered when I got into Decred and started working on it is that many players on the market already know about Decred, but weren't approached yet. So if we actually went to talk with them, they would be willing to integrate us or other, or even after some talks and explaining what is Decred, they said, "Oh, that's very nice. I love it. We'll buy some." And it's quite exciting to hear those types of feedback. So many people in the industry that work there actually own Decred, stake Decred, but they didn't actually submit a proposal to their team to have Decred on their platform. So we are partnering with a lot of services, and you have like the payments gateways and the instant exchanges that will integrate Decred soon. You have a lot of exchanges coming this quarter and the next one. And I think that, Decred has a lot of players that will almost double our volume, and it will be quite exciting. But usually I go about the same that I do on the partnership side of things. I reach out to them, we set up a call, we talk about it, and usually it goes pretty well. Some exchanges charge some money for integration or for marketing budgets, and usually it's pretty expensive. Some are reasonable. We don't mind paying for integration fees because we know that there are dev work involved. But some are just like, you would need to hire a 50 dev team to do this integration with that cost. So we are pretty aware that it's a market. There's a market for exchange listings, and we aren't very pleased with it. But we have our workaround. So there are many things coming up, and there are lots of good players in the market as well. So we are working with decentralized exchanges. We actually have our own decentralized exchange coming this year. So It will be a pretty awesome year for Decred, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, I can see that as well. So, I mean, ever since Poloniex got acquired by Circle, like, have you guys felt any repercussions of that? Like, any negative repercussions?
No, actually, quite positive ones because Circle is a big player in the financial markets and in the cryptocurrency markets as well. And Poloniex, if I am honest, it was a bit abandoned. You got like high um, high delays on support times, and you actually needed to submit a ticket to get your account verification, and it would take months or weeks at best. So with Circle acquiring Poloniex, we have a new player, I would say, that can raise Poloniex to its best where it was some years ago. So with Circle taking over Poloniex, I think that they can reach top three or top five soon. And I think it is a needed change. So I would say that Circle acquiring Poloniex was quite good for the whole market. And Bitrex as well is having a lot of changes. They have they had a lot of new hirings, and we got all of those together, and it's quite exciting to have those two big exchanges that have Decred renewing at the same time and upgrading in a sense. It's very good.
And that's awesome. So, there's one more pretty exciting topic that I personally want to touch upon with you. Like, we know that Litecoin and Decred have done an atomic swap, so to speak. Can you
Yeah.
give us the latest news on atomic swaps and Decred? Like, what is going on there?
Yeah, for sure. Around 13 projects have already done and made tools to make atomic swaps with Decred,
Mm-hmm.
and it's quite an exciting tool and feature to have an atomic swap with Decred because the other projects that have done atomic swap usually they either charge for it or they have another reason behind it. So we were the first project to just release atomic swaps tools for free
Mm-hmm.
and for anyone to use. So it's very nice to be able to without fees getting to exchange cryptocurrencies with friends, with family, or with a complete unknown stranger.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I am most excited about atomic swaps is that they have like they will ultimately have smart contracts built in on decentralized exchanges, and I won't need to trust you. So basically, I send three Decreds, and you send one Litecoin, and we have a contract establishing that was the amount, and I will get, and you get my Decred. And if you don't send Litecoins after 10, 24, or 48 hours, whichever you choose, I would get back my Decred because you didn't sign your part of the agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very nice, and it gets something that's very important in the cryptocurrency market right now. That is trustlessness. So you don't need to trust the other party to do a deal with them, which you usually have to do this when you have exchanges and other players in the market if you want to buy peer-to-peer or in other ways. And if any other projects wants to do atomic swaps with Decred, they're free to do so. We have all the tools on GitHub and all the use cases and the past integrations where they are very self-explicative, so people can actually toggle that and get some input on how to do it.
Understood.
And I mean, we have our decentralized exchange coming up. There isn't anything really fixed about it, and what I can say that we want to have, it's not a promise, but it would be awesome to have a decentralized exchange with atomic swaps, little to no fees, and privacy built in. And many people in the Decred community are looking into it with this expectation. So, I mean, it would be pretty nice to have it.
That would be pretty nice. Yeah, I can just imagine that. So, I mean, like, for someone to get their hands on Decred tokens, like, apart from the Copay wallet, what are some of the wallets that you would personally recommend? Like, you've touched on mobile wallets before. Like, can you give some recommendations there?
For sure. We have an official mobile wallet for Decred coming up, and we have a lot of mobile wallet integrations as well. I can talk about Edge. They are already integrating Decred on their wallet, and we have a lot of others that I can't talk about that are integrating Decred right now, and I love it because multi-currency wallets are an awesome entry point for new people to buy and get to know Decred. Because if they want a multi-currency wallet to have their Bitcoin and their Litecoin, and they see Decred there, they will eventually ask themselves, oh, what's Decred? Let me take a look at it. It's here, so it might be good. And that's what came to mind when I saw it in Exodus and when my friends talked about it. And since it got me into Decred, it might get a lot of people into Decred as well. And people have been wanting a mobile wallet for Decred for a long time, and it's finally getting closer and closer. So I would say that you can expect it in the next few months, and it will be an awesome experience. Regarding staking on the mobile wallet, I don't know about it, but I would be very excited, and I would stake all my Decred on my mobile wallet if that's happened. I know that they are looking into it. If it doesn't come in the first launch of it, it might come in next updates, but I can't say that is that is a thing that will come. So it's up in there.
That sounds pretty amazing. So up next we have a user question from Reddit. His username is frac_dub, and the question goes like this. So I know privacy features are a goal for Decred. Will these features A, hide the amount of Decred being sent and received, B, hide participants in the transaction, or C, both of the above? Like, can you answer that question?
I can. So what we currently have, we don't have any specifics on it because our devs are very cautious about releasing information and getting it copied by other projects, because in the space, you can get things done pretty quickly, and if you release it and other projects actually release it before you, it would be pretty bad. So what I can say, quoting one of our devs, is that we have a different take on privacy, different from all other privacy coins. And if you take Monero, Zcash, and other privacy coins, think about it. Think about how they do privacy. Decred will be totally different.
Wow. Okay, so that is something to look forward to. And up next, we have like another question that we got asked on Twitter. Like, what are some of the upcoming developments that you're really excited about? Like, I think you've touched about a lot of them, like the upcoming privacy, Lightning Network, mobile wallets. But is there anything else in particular that you're really excited about?
For sure. I think it's awesome to mention Politeia again, because with Politeia, we will be able to express not only vote on matters that are prefixed, but on new things that you create and you propose. So it will bring a lot of new horizons to Decred, and it will finally get the project subsidy moving and getting used. We don't want to like drain it fast, and it won't happen probably because stakeholders will be pretty responsible. But no mean proposals. Please, no Decred levels. But if it passes, what can I do? But I think that Polytail will enable Decred to scale in a way that it hasn't yet, because we are being very cautious about spending these funds and doing something that the stakeholders wouldn't want us to do otherwise if they had a vote and a say on it. So we are looking towards being fully decentralized. So we have a lot of new mechanisms to make Decred fully decentralized, and we are walking towards it in 2018. We have the mobile wallet coming up, the SPV wallet, which will make launching the wallet much faster. And by having a mobile wallet, you can spend Decred on local stores and pay coffee with Decred, which is awesome. And we will have an awesome user experience on it. And I mean, new exchanges to buy Decred. We are getting into Asia pretty heavily. So Asia is, if not one of the biggest markets on cryptocurrency.
For sure.
And getting there with force is very important for us. We have a lot of deals coming up in India, in China, in Japan. So people there already love Decred because of the Monocoin atomic swap with Decred. And we got a lot of news and articles on it. And Decred actually got stay. But our devs aren't really focused on hype and price, but more so on building things. So instead of just doing unresponsible marketing and spreading the word to all continents, they would rather build usable software and things that would help the safe and the growth of cryptocurrency market in general. I don't think that we have a other projects that are our enemies, if I may quote that, because I think that blockchain space and the market in general has so much room to grow that we can partner with other projects, we can do things with them, and it won't hurt us. Because if you compare the cryptocurrency market right now to other markets in the world, like the fiscal heaven, if you compare it to the financial institutes and I mean, it's so big, the growth that we can have. That's I can even say how much blockchain as in general and cryptocurrencies can grow. So I think that 2017 boom will be small compared to other booms that are coming. And as soon as user experience and the user interface on cryptocurrencies gets better and better, I think that many more people from the mainstream will actually get into it. And it's cheaper, it's faster. You have the control over your money. You don't need third parties to do it. You don't have the middleman. So that's the part that actually gets me pretty stoked about Decred and cryptocurrencies in general.
And that's pretty awesome. And like what you said about the amount of growth that cryptocurrencies can have and the amount of sheer number of projects that can thrive in this ecosystem. I mean, that is seriously something that has never been there before. I truly believe so. I mean, thank you so much, Bernardo, for taking your time to do this with us. And your passion for the project, thank you. Your passion for Decred and blockchain technology in general is very plain to see. So before we wrap up the interview, do you have any parting words for the Decred community?
Yeah, for sure. I want first to thank you for all the love and the work you have been doing into Decred. Even if you aren't a contractor, each one of you guys is important for the growth of Decred and blockchain in general, cryptocurrencies. So I love how each person can contribute even though they don't think that they are contributing at all. So if you're staking Decred, if you are posting comments on Reddit and sharing stuff on social media, you are already a part of Decred. If you own Decred, you are part of Decred. And we always welcome new people to join Decreds. And I mean, if you want to work with Decreds and you think you can help with it, feel free to drop me an email on Brites, Brites @decred.org, and I will shoot an invite to Slack, and you can interact with everyone from Decred. They are pretty open about it, and the team is awesome. You would love it, and that's basically it. Thanks for the interview, and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Bernardo, and I hope the audience enjoyed this interview. I know I certainly did. So thank you so much. This is Raj from CoinLive, and Bernardo, muito obrigado. Thank you so much.
De nada.